Hello everyone, my name is Shannon, and the activity that I have chose is called the Memory Garden, or you can just call it the garden, whatever feels natural to you. Um, so it's meant and geared towards children. However, anybody can use it. Anybody who wants to be crafty, and experience or express their grief in that way. So the purpose of this activity is for the child to show their feelings through, to show it symbolically. And it's also a way to normalize mixed emotions. So some basic supplies that you'll need. The easiest way and simplest way is going to be to use construction paper, markers, crayons. Um, you could even use stickers if that's something you want to use. Scissors, glue. The settings that it would be completed in, I personally, if it was me doing it, I think it would be more beneficial, especially if it's a child too, to do it in a quiet setting, somewhere where there's not a lot going on, somewhere where they can really hone into this memory garden. Um, Sorry, I'm trying to look at the directions to follow along. So to describe the activity from start to finish, we already talked about find a quiet space, gather your materials, and you're going to think about the person you're remembering. So, whoever you are making your memory garden about, that's who you need to focus in on. And you're going to start creating your garden. So you might want to draw some flowers or trees or bushes, whatever you want in your garden. This is your garden. And how that's going to work, what those plants are symbolizing is the person that you were grieving. And it's okay if you have 3 plants or 4 or what, as a whole, they are representing who you have lost. And you're going to start adding different things. So like I said, the flowers represent the person. And then I also, when reading about this, I saw that they would, on each one of the petals or each one of the leaves, they would make that a memory. So you might draw your flower, and then on a leaf you might reminisce on a memory that you had, and that might be significant enough that you want to write that down. And then you could also draw some little seeds, just like flower seeds. And what that is things that you would like to say to that person. So on each seed that you draw, that's something that you would like to tell them. And then to talk about the hard things, the things that kind of hurt, maybe you draw some fallen leaves or some fall color leaves, like they're falling down, or even like rocks or little pebbles. And on each one of those, that's going to represent a hard memory or a hard feeling. And what's neat about the garden is it doesn't have to just be a one and done. You can put it aside, and then later on, if something comes to mind, oh, let me grab out my garden and I'm going to add another flower, or another leaf, because a new memory has came that I want to add to my garden. Like I said, it doesn't have to be a one and done. And how I wanted to make it kind of my own spin on it is I would have each plant or object in the garden come with a short story. So we mentioned what each one might represent, but I know for me, when I lost my grandmother, it did me a lot of good to talk about different stories. Oh, one time we went and got ice cream, and this, and this happened. So that's kind of what I want to do, more than just a memory. Let's go into a little bit of detail, especially for children, because that helps them feel like they're not being forgotten, right? And the reason that I would do this is because not only does it combine creative expression with verbal reflection, but it also helps children articulate memories and their feelings more clearly, to put it into story form. My personal thoughts on the activity, I would definitely do it. Obviously, I am not a child, but I think that this would be a good tool. Like I said, it's geared towards children. However, I think that it could apply to anybody. And I also like that the activity itself allows for creativity, which that's what we're talking about. Drawing and building, and you could even use real plants if you wanted. And that could be adapted in any setting. And also too, how I mentioned earlier, doing it in a quiet space, that also allows for a child to not be so distracted or feel like, oh my goodness, all eyes are on me. So if I was administering this activity, I definitely would make it in a quiet and personal space. Bye.